I'm blown away with the measured results of one colonostic session. I met Alex in Bali, and he is an expert in reading body scans and doing energetic measurements of people on different levels. And I did a colonostic session with him yesterday, and he asked me before we started if he could take the measurements of his own body, and he did so. So at the end of the 1 hour session, he took the measurements again, and I thought, well, I nearly fell off my chair because it was so different. And Alex will share and explain the results of one session with the colonostic process. I never had that opportunity to measure the impact of the colonostics, process. And I hand you over to Alex, who will actually explain how he came to this kind of work, and he will also show the before and the after results. So enjoy.
Thank you very much, Thelma, for great introduction. Yeah, I started like I think like most of the people who have experienced through their personal uh, challenge or trauma or anything. Like I was when I was a kid, I was uh, quite long time sick with my stomach, and I never could understand what it is because I've been into the different doctors and like live in the hospital for some time. And then when I already become more older, I decided to myself, I just want to believe in the sickness, what they are telling to me. And I left and I started to research. And my first thing was that I would like to have my personal track of or evaluation of health, or at least some parameters, because like you can start very easy with the thermometer, you can start with the blood pressure, you can start with the oxygen in your body and stuff like that. So and then I was on my path, and I met my friend who showed me a device which is like I don't need to go to hospital, and I would receive the maximum data out of a scan. And I start to be very interested in that, and this is where I decided that like I would rather give responsibility for my health. I would rather keep it with myself. I will, because I decided to do not have a luxury of being sick at all. So I saw the pattern that if you invest in yourself, in your health time, yeah, that's would definitely will improve and even take over your responsibility. And yeah, so there was a devices which was doing the physical measurement, and then I was stumbled because then of course you play like with the new toy for some time, and then you want more. You want a new toy, you want so I was looking something which is could show me or prove me uh, emotional impact on the physical body, on biochemistry of the body, and I would need to know how to read it. And then I start to come to some research about the method of polygraph. So this is, they use the specific amount of the recorders, which is fixing your ACG, EEG, basically heart rate variability. And based on that, it would show psycho-emotional state, it will show the energy in the meridians, and much more. And then I start to test, I start to travel and go like start from massage, for example. So like I start to see the improvement after the massage and compare it to my personal feelings. So this was the first biological feedback, which is my body start to completely take it and understand it. And it was amazing because it was on an energetic level. And you able to compare your personal emotion from the session to what actually was been done. And after that, I start to travel to different places, like in different countries, and going and, for example, meditate and measure basically everything. You know, you like you with your new toy, you put it, you use it everywhere on everyday basis. And then I start to see a very interesting things that's the specific patterns start to appear and apply, and it's mean that I was able to track it, and I was able to change it on the spot. So the thing is, like, it's a very important to react on time, and that's why I'm coming to a stress management, because the whole system, holistic system, it's mind, body, spirit, and you need to invest on every part like a 30%, and 10% it can be a tips where you can, have fun on that. And we start with the researching of the preventive medicine or preventive maintenance. So to do not wait until something would happen to you, but keep the balance and be ready to like not be ready, but invest always some amount of time into your health. And then sometimes people think that they need to use too much time, but actually it's not true. It's just enough 5 minutes sometimes, just to, like, people find time to go and smoke a cigarette to calm down, or during the work they go and this is their meditation. So I believe that people who don't smoke, they can use a specific amount of time. And that helps to track. And this device is helping us to understand how our psychological state or emotional state is affecting our body on the physical, in the physical realm. And it's dramatic how it is. As soon as you start to understand and go into the depth, then you will probably come to the same conclusion what I came to. That's like the main thing is a stress management, because no chronic sickness will start it or reappear in the body without being triggered by a specific stress. And there is a healthy stress and unhealthy stress. And I would say I was stressed yesterday, because we will see it now just on the screen. And this is where I want to share with you, like, how your state can change just in 5 minutes after a phone call, or something on the background of your head is just keep running, and it's consuming energy. And it can consume a lot of energy. And can you imagine if you have a stockpile of a different small tasks, problems, relationship issues, and stuff like that, and that it can actually take a big chunk of the energy. And people not able to self-diagnose them. And I believe that one of the big thing that people need to think of that properly, how they can spend a little bit of a time just to check on themselves, because we're checking on our parents, we're checking on our brothers, sisters, we're checking on our neighbors, but we don't check on ourselves. And I believe to able to give, we need to able to take care first of ourselves, to do not serve from the empty glass. So I'm gonna share now my screen so that we can go through. So this was as a complex state index, and I will explain what it is. So it's a resilience of the body. This is you can see it here, complex state index. And it was a 35%. Yeah, it was already close to afternoon, but here it shows me 1840. But still, the energy which is on low, you can see that the reserves of the body is like, this is the energy which is being kept by the body to be able to run an extra mile if you need it. Or for example, when the body gets sick, this is where is the energy is being taken from. And this was before, it was a 35%, and I would say it's a bit low. And that's why we're going and we're going to check, like, we can see that it was harmonization, level of harmonization of a body. What is the harmonization of the body? It's how you interact with the external environment, how you being synchronized, how you reflect onto the different things which is coming to your life. And of course, if you on emotional burdening, then you will react with a change. It will be a little bit different if you have a heaviness of life or heaviness of a certain things or internal pressure, which was able to call. And here we can see this is the age of the by passport 40 years and biological age. So it's mean that the body in such a burden that a lot of power being lost somewhere, but we know where is it. It's not somewhere, it's on internal pressure, which is some people hold it for years, know, because it can come from the childhood trauma, it can come from the relationships and everything. And here we can see the psycho-emotional state, and you can see that, for example, the high stress level, will be like this dark brain, then the nervous system overstrain, and then we can see the state of a maximum balance. And here we can see the alpha, beta, theta, and gamma of the brain. And my psycho-emotional state was low, because you can see that it's in the red, marked red. So it's here the system works as a traffic light. You have a red, you need to take an action. You have a yellow, that it's pay attention, and then you have a green or blue. Would be the ideal results. Here we can see the hormonal regulation. What is hormonal regulation? Hormonal regulation, this is our hormonal balance, and this is immediate reaction, and you will see it when I show you the comparison to that. And this is the energy balance. So this what's in the storage. This is what our body have, and this is what our body actually working on. And energy resource, you see, it should be from minimum 150 to 600, and I had 104, so it was below the minimum. And this is the energy was entering my body, and this is what the body was consuming. So 41, coefficient 41 is entering my body, and my body consuming more energy than producing. That's why where we can see, you see plus 7 years, 47. So it's very different from the my biological age, from my passport age. And then we can see that this is the tension index, and we can see here also a different visualization of the vegetative nervous system, how it can react. So again, the red is the worst, the deep blue is the best result. And now, after like a 1 hour, 1840 here, you can see that it's 1942. Suddenly we have a huge shift from minus 27% to plus 16. So I already into the plus, and from 35% of the complex state index, or from my resilience way, it's doubled.
Yeah, I was blown away myself. Yeah.
Here we can see that the level of harmonization. So I start to perceive environment into a different way, because we took the burdening of internal pressure out of the way, which is give some resolution in the psychological way, and we cut the leakage of the energy in our system. And you can see that the level of harmonization improved, and instead of having plus 7 years to my age, I would start to having -5. So in general, so it's like it's 12 years difference. So
yeah.
Then we can see here that psycho-emotional state from 37, it's changed to 77. A beautiful change, like, and I felt in a different way. Hormonal balance, you also can see from 27, it's almost 4 times change because our hormonal system reacts one of the first one, and it's transmutated to the biochemistry of our body. And you can see from 41 I start to have 117 of energy, and it's become more than the body consuming. So before it was coming 41 to my body and 63 was consumed, and now it's 117 and 98. This is what's body consumed, and there you see that the big jump into the energy resource and energy balance. So everything doubled.
Yeah.
Then I want to show as well the aura. You can clearly see that our results from 35 to 78, it's more than 2 times, and it's mean that the body become more resilient, and the body start to have more power to resist any kind of sickness, burdening, or whatever. And then we can see the chakras as well. It's very interesting that we can see that which energy centers was actually suppressed, and that would be due to our emotion, because we're able to see, for example, like what is the lowest chakra at that point was, it was 25, and it's a chakra dispersing in supernatural organ, vegetative nervous system, eyes, nose, spine, responsible for the nervous system. So from this clearly we can see that the nervous system was on the lowest, on the burdening. So and it's probably was brought by the emotion. And the second one was the chakra of the harmony organs, lungs, vocal cords, upper part of the lungs. And this vocal chakra, it's your expression. It mean that I was not able to talk about something to someone, or was keeping it into myself, trying to maybe not offend someone or not spill things around, and that what was suppressing my system. Of course, then we can see that that was the energy potential chakra. Of course, if you're suppressing some emotions, it's directly will reflect onto the physical body, and then of course the metabolic cycle, and the heart chakra is self-love, because of course if you trying to not offend someone or don't say something on the expense of yourself, then it's of course it's a different reaction. And then we can see here the energy in the meridians is more of a Chinese medicine, but I'm using it pretty often because it helps with the acupuncture, and it helps to understand which negative affirmation or emotion are into a body. And that was the mostly we can see that it was the triple heater and pericard, and this is when the person it's self-esteem, and it's as well when people take too much on them, so overcomplicating things. And yeah, so for me this is a very bright example. I've been testing many different practices, but I can definitely say that this is a very quick result. And of course, with some people, it can be in a different way. It might need several of those sessions, but what we are thinking, instead of spill the things around, we might be can able to transmutate the state into a better state, and we'll be able to do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. And it can happen very quickly.
Yeah.
As I
We
say,
can see that it was an hour, but I believe that's the short version of it. Or if you do it every day, it's mean you would not have that a lot of that heavy burdening. So it's like the weight of it will be much less, so that you can process it probably faster.
yes, because what I think what the procedure, what it does is actually giving you the information and the awareness So you're bringing it from the subconscious to the conscious, and then you can deal with it. Because otherwise,
Hmm.
we cannot change anything from the past, but to become aware of what is it that is actually still inside of us or bothering us, then you
Yeah.
can release it because you can see it. And
Yeah.
it's also being replaced by something from your own subconscious, like a solution or a better way of looking at something, because it's all about our perspective. How do we see things? That's
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, and if you put it in a different light, then you will understand it. And a lot of things, especially trauma, we there is something that we have a tendency to blame ourselves or make ourselves guilty, or we deserve it, or there is a punishment. Um, but I don't think that that's correct. And this is a system that is non-judgmental, but just shares with you or anyone that this is still the blockage or the thing that is bothering you, but it's buried very deep below. And to get that subconscious out in the on the conscious level, then you can deal with it, then you can see it, and then you can shift it.
Well, of course, if you have this internal pressure for quite some time, and it can be years, when you do like one exercise for 1 hour, it's might like you only scratch the surface, the main thing is that uh, go go away of that belief system which holding you in the current state, and as we see, it was consuming a lot of my energy, a lot of my power, because it was puzzling me in my conscious,
Yeah.
but subconscious know the answers, and this is very helpful when we address it. And it's like in Google, you want to find website, you need to know the name of a website so that you can kind of like. So I see it as this way: we type the request, and then we receive the answer.
You gave all the answers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I
because it
understood it.
has to come from your subconscious, not mine.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
those.
understand it. I understand it clearly because you was just showing me a questions, and then I would pick up the color, and then I would by myself I would see what's the most points, or where I'm on the most age, I would say. And that's what was giving me understanding. And from the writings, I even pick up several of them. I was like, oh, they're all familiar to me.
Yeah.
It's like so. And then when you're doing this one, you can start to understand where they're coming from, because you can see direct connection. Sometimes it appears like an image of the situation of your childhood, or it projects as a like situation from like I don't know, relationship or something like that, and you clearly understand, and you can see where it's coming from, and then it will be a work just process that emotion, that it just don't take space, because that emotion or that unresolved situation, when it's take a space, think of it as a like you know a an airport. When you need to store your luggage, you're gonna pay for the cell where you're gonna stay. So you're paying with your energy,
Yeah.
basically. And then can you imagine if it's a lot of cells which is being occupied, and each one of them, they need to they consume energy of your own.
You will see that there is always a pattern that's the basis of all our how problems, or how we deal with things, or how we deal with people. And if you can get to the to the first instant, yeah, and that often is in childhood, then you're clearing it from the source, you're clearing it from the beginning, because otherwise you keep mopping with the tap still running, and it has to come from the beginning. What happens at the source? That's why when I do physical symptoms, I always want to know, when did it start? What was the emotion? When did the physical symptoms start? You have to know that, because there's something happened that triggered us to behave in a different way, and then eventually the physical symptom will appear, and it won't go away unless you go to the beginning. What
The
happened
roots.
that made it trigger? Yeah. No, thank you so much. It was really a eye opener for myself as well, and you gave me a lot of enthusiasm again. To continue, and we will find new ways, and it's always interesting. It's always great to also to talk to people like yourself who are like-minded. We all want to share the information just to help, to let people help themselves, actually,
Yeah,
and do
yeah,
not become dependent on me or on you. But yeah, if you have the tools, you can do a lot for yourself.
yeah.